want to speak about what races you are coaching?
A Skaven team in 2B called Easy Cheesy Rat Boys.
So we are going to be the hosts of our version of Smash of the Day for Division 2B, of which Max is a member. So
Hello there.
this is a special episode. It's going to be slightly different to a normal episode. So we're going to hopefully get as many of the 2B coaches in to talk us through their teams, the team themes, what their hopes are, and just sort of get a general feel for the whole of 2B. So look forward to seeing that. So we are joined by Max Hempel. Without further ado, and
Hello
we're
again.
going to be talking about Easy Cheesy Rat Boys. One of the two Skaven teams found in Division 2B. So, Max, would you like to take us through your team?
Well, my team is slightly controversial in that I'm starting with a Rat Ogre, no throwers, and only three gutter runners.
So this is actually quite interesting to me because I see the thrower as a bit of consistency having the sure hands.
He is. He is consistently with the sure hands, and I'll most likely get a thrower at some point. But with how this season looks like it's going to be a very bash fest, I feel like I may have to drop the thrower and start with the Rat Ogre instead, just so I have a bit more muscle.
Okay, that's an interesting approach to looking at this season and tuning your team towards it.
Plus, I can't get a block Rat Ogre if I don't start with a Rat Ogre.
That's a very fair point. What sort of level of experience are you playing Skaven? Is it something you've tried before, or, found much luck with? What sort of...
I mean, I played them once or twice before deciding to play Underworld in a tournament recently, so I feel like I should have taken Underworld, but here I am with Skaven.
Oh, if only you'd have taken Underworld, we would have
I
had a lot more
was
respect for you.
I was so close to. In fact, I wish if I could go back and change my submission, I would.
No, we all think that as soon as we've seen the league, but we'll...
Oh, this is before I even saw the league.
Looks like you are stuck with the rats.
Unfortunately.
Now, normally I would ask people how their naming convention works. However, I think this is fairly obvious. With, of course, Camembert spelt wrong, but we'll ignore that for the time being.
I spelled it how you told me to spell it.
Camembert, because it's B-E-R-T.
Oh, right.
Like the name Bert.
See, I thought it was the other way you say Bert.
The wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. Like Burt Reynolds.
So starting off with the Rat Ogre, obviously first, I'm assuming you're hoping to get a lot of development on that?
Hopefully he can injure a few players early, probably get guard or stand firm as his first skill. Maybe if he rolls a double, obviously it's block. If he manages to roll another double after that, it's a toss-up between Pro or Claw.
Ooh, Claw Mighty Blow, that's always big, but then I do enjoy having...
nice block Pro is all nice as well.
I enjoy having Pro on loaner plays, because it's essentially having a free reroll.
Indeed.
So, in terms of development, are you looking to put more on Gutter Runners, Storm Vermin, try and get an even spread of development?
Early I'm going to try and just spread it out between the Gutter Runners, and if the chance is there, score with the Storm Vermin to get them leveled up fast. But most of the development is definitely going to end up on the Gutter Runners, because they're going to be the main scorers. And then obviously the linemen just sap all the MVPs, because of course they do.
That's absolutely fine. Okay, might join you again later, but we'll see how the other teams are faring. Hello, and we're back here. We have with us Dave Bowden. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Jack. Hello, Max. How you doing?
We're okay.
We're doing well. We're just coming to have a look at your team and hopefully get your opinions on it.
That's great. It's very exciting to be here.
So, welcome to Bite of the Day. It's the best show on Cabal TV.
2 out of 2 presenters of this show agree.
Well, 1 out of 2.
Well, true. Co-presenter's a bit shitty, really.
Yeah, he is.
Do I get to go first as I am the reigning champion of Clematis Casual? Is that how it works?
We can definitely edit it to be second, yeah. So would you like to
I
talk
don't
us
want to
through your...
mention that I did win it last time.
Okay,
That's
you,
just-
you
that's
don't have to keep rubbing it in.
That's just the second time you've mentioned it. Would you like to talk us through your team? So obviously you've taken Necro this season, which is a difference from Dark Elves last season and the season before. Have you played much Necro before?
Never. I don't think I've ever played Necro before.
Seem to have a theme so far of people choosing teams they've never really played before.
Yeah, well, I think after my last winning season with the Dark Elves, I thought it was time to try something less brilliant. So this season, yeah, so it's Necro all the way. I've gone for a slightly fruity build.
Very controversial build.
It is, yeah. Early team re-rolls, and I've gone for as fast as possible.
I
actually think I
what-
prefer this.
just because Graham's flesh golems kept dying doesn't mean yours will die. So you could have taken a flesh golem still.
Yeah, I could have done, and then it was like it looks neater like this as well.
I suppose so.
Two
One,
werewolves, 2 whites, 2 ghouls. Round it off with zombies. It's pretty.
you're just going to have to be careful not to get into too much of a brawl with people because you're going to be missing that extra bit of muscle.
That's what zombies are for. 40k.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Job done.
Just you're not going to be smashing your way through as much.
I genuinely think I
No.
prefer this with the werewolves, because you can use the werewolves as blitzing pieces, carrying pieces, and you've got quite a high amount of mobility with movement 8 and movement 7s.
Yeah.
And I thought getting the ghouls early on as well, before everyone starts loading up on tack on stuff. So hopefully,
Yeah, that's fair.
To get blodgy fast is the sort of.
Just
plan
don't let them die early, or else this is all in vain.
Well, after a winning season as Dark Elves, I have to.
What's that now? 4?
That's 4.
Well, I don't like to mention it.
Mention what? Sorry.
The reigning champion of the Calamitous Casual. You know, it's something I don't like.
Do you think you're going to be the reigning champ of this season?
And I almost know how it's going to go. Actually, it's actually, I think, probably, although I would say this, the most competitive of all the divisions this time.
There is a lot of experienced coaches in this division.
There
and
is.
Graham for some reason.
What will happen? I will bottle it against Graham, as I always do in proper matches.
Nah, you can beat him this time. We believe in you.
He just kills me all the time. It's really annoying.
But
you have a look around.
We believe in you. You can beat him this time.
That's it. It's always die. Always a dice thing. But what have we got? 2 Skaven teams looking fruity. A nice little human team. Nurgle, you'd imagine they're going to struggle season 1 before they sort of.
They always do.
Chaos again, early off. There's not a lot to talk about. Even Lizards off the bat. It's not great. So I think we are looking at, unfortunately.
There is also a Goblin team that's not accepted their ticket yet, so don't count those out.
Yeah, the Goblin team will pick up 1 or 2 wins and probably be bottom of the table. There
is also an Orc team that is basically a Goblin team because Salmon win.
Oh, is he going for a full gobbo?
Full gobbo. Anyway, back to your team though.
Which of course we'll visit
Gobbo, we go flat.
A later segment. So obviously a lot of teams are going to be returning. So do you think this is your season, Dave? Are you going to be aiming to just to catch up on all the development, or are you going to be aiming for wins to try and get into the higher spots of the Tenderfoot Trophy?
No, always play to win. I don't SPP farm. I just go to win. So I, as usual, will have bugger all skills by the end of it, but I'm hoping to be top table. If I can get into the top 3, I'll be happy.
Wonderful.
That's my prediction for where I'm going to end up and where I'm going to be with.
Well, good luck to you for the rest of the season then.
Just before we leave,
Well,
would you mind just taking us through your naming scheme? Because I am struggling to piece this together.
Oh, right, okay. It was. I can't remember now what to do. Bear with.
Even he doesn't know.
We have the Moonster Mash Bash.
Okay. So Citizen Smith was an old TV series, and the main character who was Citizen Smith was called Wolfie. So there you go.
Fair enough.
Werewolf. David Norton. He is the guy who was the American Werewolf in London.
Ah. And then you've got
So I've just gone-
Dawn Day Walking Evil.
Yeah. So the zombies are all just anything that says Dawn of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Walking Dead, Evil Dead zombies. And the whites are just undead knights I could think of. So Lord Soth, Dragonlance series, and the guy from the Lich King Warcraft.
Arthless.
Yes, the two ghouls are actually Lord Soth's bride, essentially. One was his wife and one was the bride's. So there you go. It's a bit eclectic, more than anything.
Wonderful.
Interesting.
Right, thank you for
There you go,
speaking
so-
to us, Dave, and best of luck in your first games. Hopefully we'll have
Well,
you on.
if you do need a reigning champion to come back this season, do let me know, as I am the only one.
Oh, he's brought it back again.
Yeah.
How's that? Do I get 5 or 6 in there? Whatever.
I've-
Anyway, I'll catch you both later.
Catch you in a bit. Ta-ra, bye. And now we're back with the other Dave, the less successful Dave. Apparently, he's not the reigning champion, but that won't stop him. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
Hello there.
We're here with, obviously a different type of Skaven build. This one does not contain the Rat Ogre.
This is what you'd call the competent Skaven build.
So
Maybe.
you've obviously got quite a bit of experience playing Skaven.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind in terms of taking the different build?
So, whenever I've played Skaven, especially in a league, one of the biggest problem can be keeping players alive. And the way that you keep your positionals alive is have line rats as fodder. So if someone gets a cash, you want it to be one of them, and an apothecary. Particularly, like, I've been in leagues before where I've not had the APO and I've lost the Stormverm in game 1, and it's really, really difficult.
I apologise for causing that in the other league.
But yeah, so it's sacrificing maybe a few results for a bit of longevity. Hopefully,
It's the better build over mine. Mine's more of a one season team, where yours is one that's built to go for more than one season.
yeah,
Is that the aim-
potentially.
Is that the aim to try and ride this out for 2, maybe 3 seasons and get a monster team with mutations and...
Maybe a 1 turner or 3.
This is a team that I'm coming in to win the Calamitous Casual with this.
Oh, he's
Like
driving
that-
high.
That's the aim.
So second season or third season, you're aiming to win it all.
Yeah. I'm hoping to be competitive in it anyway, because this season could be tricky, building. It's a really bashy league as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be stuff like hoping for claw on a storm vermin, or hoping for a movement up.
Or nice, lovely doubles on your gutter runners.
Ooh, doubles and gut runners are really nice. I really like them.
So what's your thought on the other Skaven team made by that pleb?
Well, he clearly doesn't know what he's doing. No. You see, the thing is, the Rat Ogre's fun, and I do like the Rat Ogre. It's just he makes it a little less unreliable. And there is always the chance, because the other build doesn't have the Apothecary, if you said lose a Blitzer, which Armour 8 isn't impossible,
Yeah.
it can get tricky then. So it depends. We'll know a lot more 3 games in.
The Apoth is definitely the first thing I'm saving up to buy for that team, because I know how important it's going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost like we discussed that in another episode. Man.
Almost is.
Anyway, would you like to take us through your naming scheme? So obviously I'm assuming this is a Rat Pack themed team.
It is, yes. So for anyone who doesn't know, in case anyone is questioning, the Rat Pack was a group of famous celebrities round about the 1940s to the 60s, I believe. So you can see some, Hollywood stars there. It was basically, they hung out together, drunk together. And yeah, so that I figured it'd be a fun theme.
Wonderful. And how do you think you're going to fare this season? Obviously, you've already mentioned it's quite a bashy season, so I think it will be quite a swingy season personally. But I want to get your takes on how you think you're going to do.
I honestly don't have much of an idea at the moment, because there's the level of coaches, I know quite a few of them very well. It's really, really competitive, and you don't see, competitive coaches like, you've got Graham who's taking Dark Elf, Max has taken Skaven, I'm at Skaven. We're all at decent races. We're all taking something we're strong with. The Necro with Dave Bowden, maybe not, because, the lack of the golems, but we'll see. So I think it's going to be really, really competitive, and I think it's going to swing a lot during the season. There might be people who get up to a really good start.
Then all
have
of
a
a
few
sudden you have
deaths.
one game and their team is just ruined.
Yeah, which, if statistically is likely, it's going to be
Us.
Skaven start well and then die. So it might be me that
I think
happens to.
More likely me.
Yeah, but no, I honestly don't know. I'm literally just going into this season get into the Tenderfoot Trophy, and we'll take it from there.
Wonderful.
Very good then.
Well, thank you for chatting with us, Dave, and best of luck in the
Thank
season.
you. Cheers.
Good luck.
And now we're back with the Dark Elves, who is coached by Graham Candlish. Hello, Graham.
Hello, I think you'll find that's two-time champion, Graham Candlish.
Oh, we're starting off strong again.
Yep.
So, Dark Elves again. I heard you won a league with Dark Elves back in the olden days.
Back at the
Season
beginning of the
1.
league, no players, half my team's dead, still ploughed through with some good old plucky Dark Elf power, and nobody else knew how to play the game. But
So
I'm gonna stick
therefore
with my first one.
that victory can be made null and void then.
Did I mention that I won the league as them?
I think you did. I think Dave Bowden was in that league, though. I think.
Yeah, Dave Bowden was in that league, and I beat him in the final. He was dirty high elf, and I think I panned him all over, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, he didn't mention that in last when we talked to him a minute ago when he kept saying he won the league.
I don't think he won the real league, though, did he? I mean, one season teams, it's where it's at. Anyway, moving on.
That's a nice segue into your team. So you've had plenty of experience with Dark Elves, which is why you have what I'm considering a different build to what many people take.
Yes.
So, notably, there's
No
Witch
Assassin's
Elves,
brave.
Yep.
and you have a runner, which most people do not take. So I would love to hear your opinions on why you've done that, and
So,
some reasons why.
And why is it called Kenny?
I'll start off with the team as a whole. Picking Dark Elves, people instantly said I was a salty tryhard, so I named it after Salt. The saltiest player, I can't name myself because I'm the coach, so the second saltiest player is obviously Kenny. And the heart of my team is the runner, so Kenny has to be the runner. Then everyone else is named after various types of salt.
Okay.
It's fair.
So, as to the build, I've found if you take, early on especially, if you take a single Witch Elf, it's armor 7, it's a frontline piece that people look at, and you only ever have 11 players really, unless you've got a really wacky build. It gets targeted and dies. In fact, every league I've ever had them in, that I've had them in the starting roster, they've died in game 1 or 2, and I'm 110k down off my roster. So my thoughts were, ignore it for a bit. They can level up pretty quick because they're fast and agile, so it's not like having a bash player that you're going to have to rely on cash for. So if I can have a team where it's not got an obvious imbalance to it, so I've got an even number of blitzers so I can spread them out. Linemen to get on the line. If one of them gets a fruity level up, brilliant. If not, just try not to die. And the runner he's quick, so I can stick him back to pick up the ball. He's armor 7, which I don't like, but you can't have everything. But he's also leader access.
That's true.
So my first skill up,
Cheap reroll,
I can put a
especially after the
reroll
season
on.
started.
So if I get a pass and then MVP, in game 1 I can have 3 rerolls, and if I get lucky on my winnings roll, I can then buy an Apoth. And then I can build for longevity. If he dies, he's an 80k piece. I don't like the fact he's dead, but we can work on that. And the rest of it is standard. You can't afford to buy anything else.
Okay.
So that's why I picked it up.
Yeah.
You spoke earlier about getting development quickly and that you possibly are looking at which elf further down the line. Is this a team you aim to just run for a season, or is this something you wanted to keep for 2 or 3 seasons?
If it lives, I'll keep it. This is built on the idea of not being a quick flash in the pan team, because the runner will take a bit to develop. The blitzers, you can't score with 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, so I've got to try to spread them out. So I'm hoping that this would be at least a 2 season, and if I don't get my face put in 3 season. I
How
am
do you-
worried about that with this league, though.
That seems to happen quite consistently to you. Maybe you should
Yeah, I've
protect your
had
players better.
I've had some pretty terrible luck on positional death.
It's always Sean as well, I find.
Yeah.
Sean and random half dice blocking.
So, for this division, what do you think the standings are going to be?
Oh, now. So, at the bottom, I'm sorry, Salt Brother, but this team is built from some solid coaches with some good built teams. Like, none of the teams you look at and think, what the hell have they built? So I'm going to have to put Goblins last.
None of them?
There's
Are you
the
sure?
Necro, I could question. And the Goblin team,
Yeah,
if
but
it wasn't
he's
Sam
won,
Unwin.
he's won the league though, so.
Yeah.
He's only won the league once, though, and I've won it twice, and I won it as vampires with no players again. I took more casualties in those 2 seasons than he's ever had in Blood Bowl career. That includes his dead Death Roller done by Claw Mighty Blow, just to bring that up again. But yeah, Sam Unwin,
You maybe won the league twice.
I have won the league twice. However, Sam Unwin, when you look at his roster, I was discussing this before, I reckon he's going to do all right because he wins with pathetic, like, what was that, Noblar team, and he got wins. So what's he going to do with a team of cheap goblins and decent? He's got all the decent orc players. Yeah, he doesn't have black orcs, so he's not a traditional build, but he can.
But
build
he's got
that if
he's got
wants.
the block.
Yeah, so and he's just got no fear, and that can win you games. So if I had to predict top, I'm going to say Dave Oakley, because he loves the Skaven, it's his wheelhouse, it's his thing. I'd put me between 2nd and 4th, because I like Dark Elf, but they're not my true forte, which is why I'm playing them more. I'm more like beating the hell out of people. I reckon I've got a sneaking feeling that Sophie's a ringer, and that she is going to come in here and just take some heads.
Do you have anything to back up these claims?
Just her Facebook feed is linked to people who I know are good at Blood Bowl. So if she's played against them and with them and been trained by them, they're all better than me. So if she can spank them, she'll be able to kick the hell out of me.
That seems fair.
That does seem fair.
Yeah. Chaos Team by Tom.
From going to tournaments with you now, we have seen that you're average at best.
Yeah, I'm slightly above average.
That's pushing it.
I'm sure everyone says that.
The other thing, like, when you look at Tom hasn't played much Chaos, but Chaos are fairly forgiven, except for they don't start with many skills, but their roster is solid. The Nurgle team, the guys played that team for, I think every league.
Yeah, I think this is their 4th or 5th time playing Nurgle now.
Bax likes beating the people up and stamping on them, and his team reflects that. And the human lad, I don't know anything about to really have a. So I'd say.
But he has a nice naming theme, so bonus points there.
Yeah.
Which of course we'll see when we visit them.
Yep. So I just think there's, as a thing, if I had to go down it, I'll go Dave Oakley, me, Lizards,
Dave B.
Dave Bowden, Max.
Oh, that's higher than I thought I'd put myself.
Humans, Nurgle Chaos, Orc Goblin. That's really pushing it because I do think Sam will do better, but I can't see a solid to build team. If he loses a couple of things early, he's wrecked. Whereas the other people have built solid teams, which I like. Anyway, I've babbled on for forever. As 2-time champion, I do believe I am allowed extra time.
Does every time
Fair
you win
enough.
that count as 2 mentions or just 1?
I'll just mention it again. I won as Dark Elves with no positionals, and I won as Vampires with 1 vampire, and that vampire was injured.
We all love that.
So what you're saying is, who was the real master of that vampire team though? Was it the vampire or was it Cheney?
It was Wilhelm. It was the chainsaw against the Wood Elf, killing 5 positionals in 5 turns, even though he blitzed it and fell over and killed himself on the first one. And then Cheney demolishing everyone else. So my vampires did nothing, but Cheney's my boy.
Well, thank you for that little bit of insight, Graham, into vampires.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll see.
It fits well with my Dark Elf theme.
I'm sure we'll see lots of vampire teams coming for season 9, which I strongly.
We can dream, Jack. We can dream.
dream.
We can only dream.
Thank you, and wish you the best of luck.
Good luck to you as well.
And here we are joined by Tom, who is the coach of the Mad Furries, a Chaos team without the Minotaur. Hello,
Say
Tom.
hello, Tom.
Hello, Tom.
Oh, that's the
There's
first
always
one
one.
today.
Yeah, classic.
Almost made it halfway through.
Almost.
Scrap the recording. Start again.
And that's that for this team because they ruined it all. We'll be back with the next team in a moment.
Yep, goodbye. So, Tom, your level of experience with Chaos. What is it? You got a load? You got a little?
A little. I think the most I've ended up doing with Chaos is playing a few friendlies and also having a mess around on the Immortal League on this as well.
The Eternal
Yeah.
League.
Yeah.
Fair
And
enough.
to the point where it's like a ridiculous, like 3 million net worth team or whatever.
That's always fun when you get big
Yeah.
and you're just murdering everything.
So, is this a roster you would normally start with? Obviously, you've gone with the 4 Chaos Warriors and the 2 rerolls. Was there ever a thought of including the Minotaur or a different build? Respect?
I think the Minotaur is something I'm going to work towards. I'd say this is sort of more of a conservative build in terms of what I'm looking at.
Very. It's going to be. You're not going to have much impact early on without the Minotaur, and with the starting with the Apoth instead of the 3 rerolls, that's going to mean that you have less. You can't fuck up even more than usual because with Chaos. That's why we decided to go the Apoth over the 3 rerolls.
Because knowing my luck, if I went and gambled on not having the Apothecary, I would probably lose a Chaos Warrior in the first game.
Rerolls are going to be expensive later on.
Yeah, there will be. But it's one of those where my sort of plan is not necessarily to flourish in this first season. It's developed to the point where it's my second and third seasons is where teams are going to be afraid of me.
So standard Chaos.
Yeah. I'm like, my aim is not to have fun. It's to make sure other teams don't have fun. Which is again, it's typical Chaos in terms of
especially season 3 Chaos.
Yeah. When you got Claw Might Blow.
So for the Chaos Warriors, what build paths are you thinking for them?
I think it will be probably this sort of the standard.
And why is their first skill going to be block?
It's always going to be block, unless I roll doubles, in which case, or if I get dodge, it's going to be dodge. After my last team, a team of Orcs, where pretty much every player on the team had dodge. But it's probably going to be stuff like block, guard, might blow, and then I'll probably have at least one player who's an out-and-out bruiser, and hopefully that's Mr. Punchy. So I'll end up with like block, mighty blow, claw, pile on with him, or something like that, just so he can run up to people and smack them.
Hope for the dream where eventually all the Chaos Warriors have block, mighty blow, guard, claw.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Yeah, and then teams will just avoid me as much as possible. If I get super lucky on Mr. Punchy, he'll get jump up as well, so I can be extra sort of nasty with him.
So how are you thinking your team is going to do this season compared to all the other teams?
I'd say middling. I'm hoping that in terms of a draw, I don't get the stunty teams until like second or third game, where I might potentially get a leveled up character I can just be greedy and put tackle on, just so I can try and sort of harvest some extra points from them.
Or even just put block on a warrior because you're still taking them down just as much.
Yeah. I think it's not. This season is not the one that's going to be mine unless I'm very fortunate in terms of level up and sort of my injury, my sort of block rolls and things like that. It'll be next season, the season after, as long as I can sort of start the development on this in this season.
Standard Chaos, just a slow burning team.
Yeah.
You've been a bit quiet, Jack. You're going to say anything?
Well, you are by far more experienced with Chaos than I am. So I was
that's true.
letting you take the ropes.
That's fair.
Would you like to talk us through your naming convention, though, Tom?
Well,
I noticed you've not got Merc Horses or...
No. I've gone for a very traditional team. Merc Hortis has been he's been replaced by Mr. Punchy so far because Mr. Punchy has become far more of a fan favourite and opponent hated player.
Merc Mortis forever.
Yeah. He might sort of rear his head again.
You're saving him for the Minotaur, obviously.
Oh, it might be. You know what? It might be. It could be that, or it could be Mad Max.
The legend never The legend never starts on the team; he joins later.
Yeah.
So
I'm saving it for another team. I think you can guess, apart from Mr. Punchy. If you put any of those names into Google,
Well,
it'll come up with the Mad Max
you
character.
called the Mad Furries, so I don't see the connection here between that and Mad Max.
I guess the Beastmen are quite furry.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it does help if you have a basic grasp of English to understand it's Fury and not furries.
No, I disagree with you there.
Well, I mean, usually if both of you are disagreeing with someone, they tend to be correct.
What if we disagree with each other and you simultaneously?
Then the universe will end because there's only two choices. It's either Fury or furries.
4 eyes.
Yeah, it could be
Okay.
that.
Okay. See, he's just agreed with you. He didn't even disagree. Shit.
Oh well, thank you for having us, Tom. And
It's the other way around, isn't it?
And best of luck in your division.
Fingers crossed.
I'll see you in a bit. And now we're here with the only stunty of this league. We're here with Kenny. Hello, Kenny.
Hello, Jack.
So,
Wow, someone did it properly.
Goblin.
Yes, well, I decided I've tried playing with every team that has like an ounce of kind of bash about them, so I thought I'd just go full on. We'll see what happens this season.
Will your blood pressure be able to survive this though?
I don't think it will, so therefore what I'm expecting is to die about game 3. So
That seems fair.
should be an easy ride for everyone else the rest of the season.
I think this is either going to be your team or absolutely not your team.
I mean, well, like I was saying before, it was a toss-up between ogres and goblins, and goblins won. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I've only played against one goblin team before. That was Dave about 7 rounds ago. So a long time since anyone else could play goblins, I think, to be honest. So should be interesting.
Yeah.
Now you've gone for what I'm considering a fairly standard build with the goblins. So
Yeah. Seems like a standard build. 60k left in the bank, so if you really wanted to just buy some, if you for some reason like an emergency APOF because you don't want to troll or something to die game 1.
I'd be going for a bribe.
Oh yeah, there's also
That's my plan for the first game. To be honest, was getting a bribe in nice and early. I'm expecting to basically lose a lot of goblins. So for me, it's mainly just going to be protecting the fanatic and the loony much as possible. Pogo is obviously there as another piece. You can sub him out or leave him into the lineup, and it's not really too important. The loony again is another one where he's there to kind of do as much damage as possible and die. It's not
introduce a chainsaw to the spine of your opposing team's best ball carrier.
There we go. That's it. And so yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I said, the apothecary is an option, but I like having the bribe available for the first game.
Well, if by a miracle your loony was to level up after the first game, what would you give him?
Oh, I know this is a difficult one. What's his?
On a regular level up, he gets AG access only. Personally, I like giving him jump up.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because jump up makes the most sense. Just so you can get that nice.
You don't have to. You don't have to waste your blitz to hit someone with the chainsaw.
Well, exactly. And the thing is a lot of the time you're going to need leverage that chainsaw as much as possible. Yeah. So I think jump up's definitely the best. I mean, obviously, if you get the level up on the fanatic, it's
mighty blow.
Mighty blow every day of the week. I mean, the good thing with goblins as well is if I'm in a good position after the first game, I do have the option of putting in some really quite cheap star players. So it does help fill out if I do end up losing Looney or losing the Fnatic game 1. So yeah, a bit of flexibility with goblins, which is something nice because obviously you lose something with orcs or you lose something with Nurgle, you're really going to be hemorrhaging at that point.
So what's your naming theme?
Well, naming theme is quite subtle, which I quite like. It's mainly just puns or dirty jokes because goblins. So yeah,
bit of a rip off of that vampire team a few seasons ago. Then
yeah.
I think I've done it.
Old cunning what? Something.
Look, Bendover's now a troll.
Bendover's a troll. Yeah, exactly. Seymour Butts, and then just kind of goes from there really. Because I'll be honest, I forgot to submit a team and had to think of a naming scheme very quickly. So that was what came up.
Fair enough.
I'm noticing a few of the names are the same, but there's some quite creative ones in the middle. So I'm glad.
Yeah, I did do a bit of different ones, to be honest, Jack. But yeah, kind of
The classics are there.
the classics are there. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not copyrighting it, Jack. So
Yeah.
So, league standings. What do you think they're going to be at the end of the season?
Well, if I'm not top, I'll be shocked. Perfectly honest. It's an open league, really, at this point. I mean, a lot of teams in there are kind of really low skill teams, so I'm expecting. Graham's right. I mean, obviously, as a sole brother, I can only do so much to not just pound his head in. And yeah, like
Remember,
I say,
you get bonus points for every player you kill with your goblin. Every player of his you kill.
Oh, I mean, this is my game plan, basically, is just do as much damage to everyone else as possible. Because, I mean, you look at that, you've got 2 Skaven teams, and they're just ripe for being beaten up, so that's my target, really.
So, game 1, kill all Graham's blitzers?
I mean, the main target for me, realistically, is the Chaos team. There's a lot of work I can do beating them up. If I can kill a Chaos Warrior, just really put Tom back, that's really what I'm after.
Yeah,
Causes much
Chaos Warrior
aggravation.
game 1 is just so tragic.
If I can cause as much aggravation to everyone as possible, that's my aim in the league at the moment. I'm trying to win, so I'll just go for the other route.
Standard goblins.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for the introduction to your team, Kenny, and best of luck killing everyone's dreams.
Well, happy to talk to you guys.
I'll see you later in the season.
See you later in the season. Hello everybody, and we're joined with Sam Unwin, coach of a normal goblin team. Hello Sam.
Say hello, Sam.
Hello, Sam.
And then we have another one who thinks they're original. So obviously we've had a change from Pro Elves, was it last season?
Yeah, pros.
And you appear to have taken a normal goblin team this time.
I see your
normal goblin team.
I see your playtest in the new Blackhawk team for Blood Bowl 3.
Pretty much, yeah. Going with primarily Blackhawks and Goblins and Big Troll.
Who needs blockade?
The obvious difference being the foes.
So this is clearly we'll call it a fruity build because most people would advocate for having blitzers on the team. Any particular reason you didn't take them?
Well, I think if you're taking blitzers, you're being a coward, really.
I like this guy.
So there's no tactical reason. You've not thought of a development plan in your head. You just sort of.
No,
You're just not a coward.
much like my usual routine with these teams. It's I'm just gonna go with what my gut says and hope things turn out. Hope
and then you just roll
players don't
sixes.
immediately die. Yeah, that's the hope. Yeah, that's my hope so
A
far.
high amount of optimism.
With the team you've taken, I completely agree with the 4 rerolls, but what about if you just dropped one of those rerolls and had an ape off? Because I'm sure you don't want one of those precious goblins to die early.
Yeah, I really wouldn't want one of those goblins to die early. Well,
Then you got 30 in the bank, so hopefully you get it after your first game, I suppose.
that is the hope. Because I'd rather have to save up 20k for an apothecary rather than save up even more for a reroll once the league starts.
Yeah.
And I will need 4 rerolls for this team to function.
I'm guessing you could have got away with the 3 rerolls ape off if you were with the blitzer route, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But I've definitely gone with the.
But like I said earlier, you're not a coward.
I'm not a coward, no.
However, when we were filming some of this other bits, we did have a quick look, and you didn't have the Blackhawks, you had the blitzers. So it is a last-minute change that's been rolled.
Yeah, I think taking one or the other is all right, but taking both on the same team is somewhat cowardly. I originally had gone for the blitzers, I will admit, because the use of block is very tempting. But I have changed my ways to the Blackhawks upon the creation.
The Blackhawks have all got a different head as well, which is nice.
Yeah, so I've decided I'll go with the Blackhawks, and that strength 4 is going to come in handy. I feel.
Wonderful. So, would you like to talk us through your naming scheme? Obviously, goblin teams, the secret weapons, that sort of stuff.
We have some very secret weapons here. The Black Orcs are named after the scariest things: smashing, crashing, bashing, Steve. The throwers are named after what I intend for them to do: throw and throw, but a bit more confused about it. Well, he just wants some friends. That's the whole reason why he's here. When he showed up on the training field, he kept asking for friends. So I just put that down as his name, and we've signed him up. And the goblins, similarly, when they arrived on the training field, I asked them what their names were, and they just told me they were afraid of heights, afraid of getting kicked. Was the answer to one of them. And I do like Afraid of Nothing. He did show some spunk on that first training session. He really came out there and went ahead and he showed some promising moves. He did lose an eye on that first training session though, so maybe he should have been afraid of a couple things.
Oh, that's fantastic.
In hindsight.
That is absolutely amazing. Oh. Do you plan on keeping this team a lot of seasons, or are you looking at just doing one season run like you did last season?
It at the moment I only have plans for one season. Obviously, if we do well, I'll be keeping them.
Define well. Would that just be still having 4 goblins at the end?
You might think so, but the main aim for this season is to beat the 8 Peak Punies, the other goblin team in this league.
Yes, Kenny.
Then I can prove that goblins with Black Orcs is better than goblins with secret weapons. And that's really what we're out to prove.
Real question, will you beat Graham?
Yes.
And that's the confidence we like.
Speaking of how you think you're going to do, how do you think you're going to do? Do you think you're going to end up qualifying for the Tenderfoot? Are you looking just to not finish last? How are you? How confident?
I'm hoping to not finish last. I feel like I might do quite well against the goblins, of course.
I think
maybe alright against the Nurgle. But I feel like I will struggle against faster teams like the Skaven. Lizard Man is a bit of a wild card.
You'll struggle against one. I think you'll walk over the other one.
Yeah, that might be the case. That might be the case indeed. Judging by previous records, yes. Maybe.
Yeah.
The elf team will just be annoying, and the chaos.
As they always are.
Chaos of chaos.
Chaos.
And once again, humans just a wild card. I don't know how I'm going to do against them. They have taken an ogre though, so I do fear them a little bit.
How about the lizard team?
The lizard team, well, similar